An assortment of fresh vegetables oven roasted, then folded over with pesto and smoked Gouda in a buttery pastry. This incredibly delicious vegetarian meal idea has everybody's name on it. Time to make a roasted vegetable galette. Let me just say this off the top, everybody has got to make this recipe. Seriously, it is surprisingly easy to make, but then the flavor and the presentation, swear this recipe is gunning for Recipe of the Year. Now, let me show you how to make it. We're gonna start by making a galette dough. We suggest using a food processor to make the pastry. Fitted with a blade attachment into the canister, we're adding 10 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter. Pop in 1.5 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of kosher salt, and then the lid goes on. We're gonna pulse a few times to coat the butter in the flour, then run the machine on a low setting. Up to the chimney, we're adding 5 tablespoons of cold water. Now look down and marvel at the ease of this. Like magic, the dough comes together in like 30 seconds. We're spilling it onto a piece of wrap. Transfer to the fridge and chill for at least an hour. 3 things really quick about the dough. So we decided to use a food processor because the butter works better in with the flour and thoroughly blends. This makes for a very strong galette dough. Number 2, let's say you don't have a food processor, do it by hand, but you've really got to work that dough together before continuing. Third thing about this, the dough freezes really well. So why not make the dough a couple of times and then put it in the freezer? Because trust us, you'll be making this recipe again and again. Let's continue. It's a roasted vegetable galette, so let's get those veggies going. I have a medium sliced zucchini divided lengthwise into 4, then sliced. A handful of green beans, they're trimmed, then cut into bite-sized pieces. 3 cauliflower florets, sliced thinly. Half of a red onion, diced kinda chunky. And then maybe 1 cup of cherry tomatoes, halved. Into a large bowl then, the zucchini, the beans, cauliflower, red onion, cherry tomatoes, last minute surprise, 1 200 milliliter can of sliced black olives. Drizzle the bowl with extra virgin olive oil, sprinkle with kosher salt and black pepper. Let's toss by hand. Spill the veggie mix onto a baking sheet. We're gonna move the veggies about into an even layer. You don't need to wash that bowl. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Then veggies go in. We're roasting for 15 minutes. At the 15-minute mark, let's toss them about on the pan. Then they go back to the oven for another 15 minutes of roasting. Now we're doing 3 additional things while the veggies continue to roast. First, fresh herbs. I have basil, fresh thyme, and flat leaf Italian parsley. Give the fresh herbs a chop. This is good smoked Gouda cheese. Grab a big chunk, maybe 125 grams worth. We're gonna grate it. It'll be a bit more than a cup's worth. Also, we're gonna do an egg wash. This is easy. 1 egg plus a tablespoon of water. Whisk it together, set it to the side with a pastry brush. So right about now the veggies are done. Watch what we do to give them even more flavor. Veggies come out of the oven, carefully transfer them back into the large bowl. Let's hit them with 2 garlic cloves finely minced, a tablespoon of Weekend at the Cottage salad sprinkles. If you don't have our salad sprinkles, just add a tablespoon of your favorite dried herbs. Then we add the freshly chopped herbs, stir to combine. You can set the veggies to the side. And just like that, we're ready to assemble our galette. We know this pastry business, right? We're flouring our work surface, flouring the disc of galette dough, flour your pin, and then we're rolling it out. It's about a 14-inch circle. Try to roll it into a round as evenly as possible. Then we're rolling back up onto the pin. Now you're transferring it back down onto a parchment lined, you get to choose, a pizza stone or a round pan, or a baking sheet will work too. Now we plop 2 tablespoons of pesto onto the dough. This is gonna give the galette even more flavor, smooth it out almost to the edge. Then we're gonna sprinkle on the grated smoked Gouda, reserve a little bit of the cheese back. Now we're adding the veggies, transferring them over onto the pesto and cheese. Distribute them evenly over the top. Now the fold up. Lift the dough up onto the veggies, move over, lift a little bit more. You can fold in that crease, and we continue all the way around. Notice how perfectly this dough is performing, no mishaps. Okay, wait a sec, time out. I gotta show you this because this is like totally a Nick moment right here. You know, after folding everything, I was like, oh, this parchment paper doesn't look so gorgeous. So yeah, I took a pair of scissors and I trimmed it away. And then finally, the last step, I was able to apply the egg wash all the way around and up the edge of the pastry. I then get to sprinkle the top of the galette with any remaining cheese. We're transferring to the oven. We're gonna bake for 25 minutes. Check this out. It is baked perfectly. So gorgeous. The pastry beautifully browned. I'm adding a little bit of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. As soon as it comes out of the oven, you're then gonna leave the galette to sit for 15 minutes before we serve. Okay, now to serve, do a little sprinkle of freshly chopped parsley. We're then cutting wedges. Look at this, right? Over to plates, and honestly, it needs nothing more than a simple green salad with a light vinaigrette. I know, you're ready to make it, aren't you? Well, good news. Full recipe is up at weekendatthecottage.com. When you're visiting our website, please subscribe to it. Look for this video on our dedicated YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it as well. Don't forget, drop us comments, give us a thumbs up. And then finally, when a galette is this gorgeous, take a picture of it. Post it on your favorite socials using hashtag weekend@the-cottage on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. It is a beautiful roasted vegetable galette. It was so interesting when we sat down to eat this. My cousin Linda was visiting. We took one bite and she was like, oh, I want to try making this with squash. And then we started, oh, how about mushrooms with blue cheese and leeks? I think the possibilities on this are endless. And for sure, you're going to see more galettes coming to Weekend at the Cottage because it's so delicious. Wait until you try it. Look at this. The pastry, the fresh veggies, amazing. Sure is. Oh my gosh. Delicious. So good.